Have you ever seen something so heartbreaking that it stays with you forever? That's what happened to Clara when she walked into her local library one quiet morning. Between the tall bookshelves, on a cold wooden bench, lay a little boy fast asleep, no blanket, no guardian, just a worn-out backpack clutched tightly to his chest. She thought he was waiting for someone, but the truth was so much deeper and sadder. Clara loved mornings at the library. She was a volunteer there, helping children find books and organizing story sessions. The library was her safe place, a world of peace inside a noisy, busy city. That day she arrived early, expecting silence. But as she stepped inside, she noticed something unusual. A pair of small shoes peeked from behind one of the reading tables. At first, she thought some child had come early and was waiting for their parent. She walked closer quietly, and then she saw him, a boy, no older than 8 or 9, curled up on the wooden bench, his knees pulled to his chest, his backpack held like a shield. His face was tired, pale, and smudged with dried tears. Clara froze. Should she wake him? Should she call someone? Was he lost? But something inside her whispered, "Don't startle him. Be gentle." She walked away quickly, brewed a cup of hot cocoa from the staff pantry, and placed it softly on the table beside him. Then she sat a little distance away, pretending to read, waiting for him to wake. Minutes passed before his eyes slowly opened, confused, frightened, ready to run. "It's okay," Clara said softly, raising her hands in peace. "I didn't touch you. I just brought you something warm to drink." He stared at the cocoa, then at her, his lips parted as if to speak. But no words came. Instead, he sniffled and wiped his eyes with his sleeve. "What's your name?" she asked. He hesitated. His voice was barely a whisper. "Illy. Hi, Illy." Clara smiled gently. "Do you like books?" He nodded slowly, clutching his backpack tighter. "Do you want to stay here a little longer? It's warm and quiet." Illy gave the smallest nod. Clara didn't ask more. She didn't want to scare him away. She simply sat there with him in silence, pretending to read, while he sipped the hot cocoa carefully like it was something rare, something precious. As the sun rose higher, children and parents began to enter. Illy tensed, shrinking into his seat. Clara leaned closer and whispered, "Would you like to sit in the staff room instead? It's calmer there." This time he answered with words. Can I stay just for today? I won't bother anyone. I promise." His voice was so full of fear, so full of desperation. Clara felt her heart crack. She smiled warmly. "You don't have to promise anything. You're safe here." But deep down, she knew something was terribly wrong. No child sleeps alone in a library, unless they have nowhere else to go. As the hours passed, Clara gently coaxed little details from Illy. His father had passed away 2 years ago. His mother worked long night shifts at a factory. They used to live in an apartment, but after his mother fell sick and lost her job, they couldn't afford rent anymore. Now they stayed in shelters, or sometimes wherever they could. Sometimes Mom stays somewhere else because shelters don't always take both of us. He whispered, staring at his shoes. "When that happens, I just go somewhere quiet. I like libraries. They don't yell." Clara felt tears burning in her eyes, but things worsened when the head librarian, Mr. Walker, arrived. He was strict, rule-bound, unforgiving. "What's going on here?" he demanded, eyeing Illy suspiciously. "Is this child with you?" Clara nodded quickly. "Yes, he's just resting." "This is not a daycare, Mr. Walker said sternly. "We cannot have unattended children loitering." "He's not loitering," Clara protested. But before she could finish, Illy stood up in panic. "I'll go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble." He grabbed his backpack and rushed toward the door. "Illy, wait," Clara called out, running after him, but he didn't stop. He sprinted out of the library, disappearing into the crowded street. Clara's heart pounded wildly. She ran outside, scanning every direction. But he was gone. Guilt crushed her. She had promised him safety, and within minutes it was taken away. For the rest of the day, she couldn't focus. She searched nearby streets, parks, and alleyways, asking local vendors if they had seen a small boy with a blue backpack. No one had. Night fell. Clara couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Where was he sleeping tonight? Was he scared, cold, hungry? The next morning, she returned to the library early with one hope, that he would come back. But the bench was empty. Hours passed. Her chest tightened with helplessness, until A sudden voice broke the silence. "Miss Clara." She turned, and there he was, standing at the entrance, shivering, eyes red from crying. Clara rushed to him and knelt. "I'm so sorry," he said, trembling. "I tried to sleep outside, but it was too cold. Can I please just sit here for a little? I won't touch anything." Clara didn't answer with words. She just wrapped her arms around him and whispered, "You never have to ask permission to be safe." But she knew safety was more than warmth and cocoa. He needed more than a seat in a library. He needed a home. Clara made a decision that day. She took Illy to a nearby cafe, bought him breakfast, and called child services. Not to give him up, but to ask how she could help him properly, legally, permanently. They explained the process. It wouldn't be fast, it wouldn't be easy, but it was possible. When Clara asked Illy if she could be his temporary guardian, he didn't answer right away. He looked down at his cocoa cup, then up at her with trembling lips. "Do you really want me?" Tears welled in her eyes. "With all my heart," she whispered. Weeks passed, paperwork, interviews, inspections, background checks, but through it all, Illy stayed by her side. He slept in a warm bed, he ate homemade meals, he laughed, sometimes softly at first, then louder each day. He decorated his new room with drawings and books. He began calling her Miss Clara less and Mom more, and every night he would peek into her room before sleeping. "Are you sure I'm staying?" He would ask. "Forever." She would answer. The head librarian, Mr. Walker, eventually found out. He approached Clara one afternoon. "I didn't know," he said quietly. "I misjudged." Clara looked at him calmly and replied, "Sometimes kindness isn't about rules. It's about seeing someone's pain before judging their presence." Mr. Walker didn't argue. He simply nodded and donated a full shelf of children's books to Illy's new room. Months later, the adoption was finalized. Illy stood before the judge holding Clara's hand tightly. "Do you agree to be her son?" The judge asked gently. Illy looked at Clara, tears brimming. "I already am." Sometimes kindness isn't loud. It's a quiet cup of cocoa, a soft voice saying you're safe, a stranger who chooses to stay instead of walking away. We never know what someone is carrying behind their silence. One gentle act can rewrite someone's future. Be the reason someone believes in goodness again.